You think about a little music, Todd?
I like it. It's a good move. Open with some songs.
Yeah, so this is your daily scrum. A little tune going in the background. We're trying to up the quality of the show for all of you, keep things getting better. I'm professional scrum trainer Ryan Ripley. This is professional scrum trainer Todd Miller. Together, we produce this show for you, the listener, so that, and viewer, if you're on YouTube, maybe you're listening to this on a podcast or a website. We're not sure anymore. It's gone wild.
Mhm.
So this thing is spreading all over the internet. But wherever you are, thanks for being out there. We're trying to bring some Scrum knowledge to you so that you can have a great day today, help your teams get better for tomorrow, and ultimately deliver some products that make your customers happy. If we're helping you do that, let us know in the comments. We love the feedback. If you have a question that you want to see answered on this show, also leave us a comment. The comment section is, let me get my camera angle right, somewhere down here. We love collecting those questions. I think we've got about a backlog of 40, so you're keeping us busy. But we're going to get to each and every one of them. Today, Todd, we have a doozy. It's right up. This is my wheelhouse. I love this question. And I'm so happy that one of our viewers asked it. Where does a manager fit on a Scrum team? What a great question. Many of you out there know, but some of you might not, that I am the leadership steward for Scrum.org. And so I write the leadership content in the Professional Agile Leadership Essentials course that is taught globally by the Professional Scrum Trainer team, right? So all 320 PSTs teach this class, or at least most of them do. And so this is a topic that is very much front of mind for both Todd and I as we navigate teaching these classes. And yeah, this is a huge question, right?
And it's been a topic, I think, on our mind in the trenches as we've tried to navigate and partner with management, either as a Scrum Master, a product owner, or a developer in the past, because the relationship's a bit different than what it was before you started using Scrum. So I think this is a pretty hot button issue for us to figure out.
You know, this is, it was an awkward chapter for us to write in our book. So in Fixing Your Scrum, which is a book Todd and I wrote, we have a chapter on management, and it really shouldn't be there because managers are not mentioned in the Scrum Guide. But we found so often that Scrum Masters were not interacting well with management and that the manager role was misunderstood, that we really had to write it. And so I think we need to be clear. First and foremost, management's not mentioned in the Scrum Guide. So we need to be careful here about the things we recommend and talk about. But I think even as we wrote in the book, we were pretty clear that they are needed for a Scrum team to be successful, right? And so we're going to talk about a few ideas here. And Todd, we've both been in executive leadership positions. Just because an organization adopted Scrum doesn't mean that the HR responsibilities and people management type of things go away.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot too. We talk about this in experiences where we've needed to invoke HR and invoke management to deal with some issues because, we jokingly say it, but we're also serious when we say if there's some kind of issue when it comes to sexual harassment, discrimination, or something that breaks laws, as a facilitator, or as a Scrum Master, you don't facilitate your way out of that, right? No. Like these are very serious things that require escalation paths, right? And sometimes with legal consequences if you don't. So I think that that's really important to call out. You and I have both been in situations where we've experienced that and have had to bring things to management or HR.
Yeah, management should be an amazing partner to a Scrum Master and to a Scrum team, not necessarily an adversary, as so many horrible blog posts and videos make them out to be. But yeah, management, look, the HR stuff doesn't go away. The people issues don't go away. And management is a great partner, or can be in those situations. When it comes to the actual functioning of a Scrum team, look, management provides the boundaries and constraints needed for self-management, self-organization, however you'd like to say it, to actually be effective, right? If we just you'd be amazed how many times we go into companies and the leader that we talk to, the manager, the director, whatever role they're in, they'll tell, hey, Ryan and Todd, we keep telling these teams to just go forth and do their work, go self-manage, go self-organize, and they're not getting anything done. And we're not shocked. Look, the role of management is to set the boundaries and constraints that the teams are working in. What's the greater goal they're trying to achieve? and then unleashing those teams to creatively solve those problems and achieve those goals.
Yeah, and I think this also too really depends on the size and construct of an organization, right? You mentioned goal, so hopefully you have a product goal with a product owner, but is that product goal in line with a company goal? Is there a company goal? Does everybody know what the company goal is, right? So I think that the company goal is set by executive leadership. In really large companies, you could have hundreds of product goals that are in line with trying to achieve the company goal. So I think that's a good call out, right? There's also the aspect of giving boundaries for self-management when it comes to how teams are organized.
Yep.
Right. So we're using Scrum, and we have to reorganize our entire department of 70 people. How do we do that? Maybe management comes with a couple boundaries for that and says, y'all pick your teams now, right? We have to provide some boundaries, though. Every team has to be able to deliver a done increment. Our customers need to receive that done increment with high quality, right? And we want to be part of sprint reviews, something like that. Maybe that's just a couple boundaries that management sets in that instance.
Yeah, setting the greater goal of the work and trying to provide those boundaries and constraints are essential, because I'll give away one of the tips from the Professional Agile Leadership Essentials, the PAL e-course, right? Which I highly recommend. Go to agileforhumans.com, see when we're running it next. If this question is really burning in your mind, I think that class is great. But I'll share one of the hot topics of that course now. How the manager or leader shows up is largely going to impact the success of the Scrum team, right? So a manager has great capabilities when it comes to removing systemic organizational impediments, right? A Scrum Master can be really good at working at a team level. They can be really good at helping a product owner and a developer get through something. But if there's something big going on at a organizational level, they need management showing up in a way that helps address that. Managers and leaders, they also, the way that they show up from a leadership perspective, right? So if you have a Scrum team that's amazingly mature and very effective with minimal direction, but if I'm the manager showing up trying to micromanage them, I'm going to drag them down to a low level of performance. And vice versa. If I'm dealing with a team that is relatively new and lower maturity, and as a leader or a manager, I'm trying to show up and just give them some very loose guidance and some goals and unleash them, they're also going to struggle. And so the way that I show up, the way that I help solve impediments, the way that I partner with the team, the way that I work within the organization to make delivery easier, all of these things are going to add up and have a huge impact on how successful these teams actually can be.
Yeah, and I'm going to change perspective on that. So you're talking perspective of a manager. I'm going to reverse that perspective and talk about the Scrum Master, right? And really the Scrum team, and something that we explore in the Professional Scrum Master 2 course is this notion of how some Scrum teams, including the Scrum Master themselves, live in their own Scrum universe, a Scrum bubble, right? And they forget that there's all these other things working outside of them, and sometimes shelter themselves from them, right? You've really got to burst that. You've got to get out of that the fact that you're in this self-contained Scrum bubble and start talking and seeing what's happening outside of you with HR, with management, maybe with accounting, with legal. You've got to get out of the Scrum bubble and burst the Scrum bubble. So Scrum Master, go talk to management, sit down, have conversations with them, be empathetic towards what their position is. Maybe they're scared of the change. And remember, that's in service to organization, which is part of your accountability.
Yeah, absolutely. Great tips there, Todd. And I think we're going to leave it at that point. I think there's room for future management videos. More than happy to take more questions about this. But for today's Your Daily Scrum, I think we've hit our time box or about to come up on it. So check us out online. There's all the socials. Hit that subscribe and notification bell so that you know exactly when we drop a new episode. Keep up with the latest. We've got a growing catalog out there, and it just keeps getting bigger each day. So subscribe and like. Check out some of the videos below, right? We're adding some things on this end screen for you. There's some playlists, some videos. We hope that those help as well. Drop your questions in the comments, or actually let us know about a management story of your own. How have you navigated this? Help Todd and I learn and grow as well. So leave us some comments, leave us some questions, And you know what? Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing. We hope this helps, and we will see you next time.
See you next time.